So our next speaker plays the piano and speaks Spanish. Please welcome Jessica.
Hello. When I'm out in the world making small talk and people find out I work at the Census Bureau, there's usually a clever comment made about counting people. And I'm always happy to say yes with a smile and maybe encourage people to fill out their forms, but I've learned people are ready for me to stop there. What I'd really like to say is the reality of what it takes to count people across the United States is far more complex than the average person can imagine. I'm going to take you through the variety of data collected at Census, the challenges presented with working with data at volume, and how R helps us with both tasks. My name is Jessica Klein, and today I will take you through the role of R in Census Bureau data reporting. The opinions I express today are that of my own and not of my agency's. So I know you've all heard about the Census Bureau. Let's do a high-level overview of what we do. The Census Bureau is the largest of 13 principal federal statistical agencies, which are agencies that have statistical activities as their core mission and conduct much of the federal government's statistical work. Census Bureau leadership and staff are dedicated to providing current facts and figures about America's peoples, places, and economy. We stay true to our mission to serve as the nation's leading provider of quality data, and our goal is to provide the best mix of timeliness, relevancy, quality, and cost. If you are listening carefully, you have picked up on the 3 V's of big data: volume, variety, and velocity. The Census Bureau handles volumes of data by conducting nationwide surveys, such as the decennial and the economic censuses. These surveys collect data from millions of households and businesses. We gather and manage these large data sets primarily through electronic instruments, field representative assisted collection, and data linkage through administrative records. We collect a variety of data to fulfill our mission, and the variety of respondents and data collected requires a variety of collection approaches. Right on our homepage, we release the United States population and the world population, along with several key economic indicators that are most impactful when kept relevant. Data science is not new to the Census Bureau. It's just never been as accessible to the average census employee until recently. Open source advancements have changed the landscape of possibility. Census Bureau statistics are organized by common societal topics right on our homepage, making it easy for the public to start identifying the data they're looking for. Each topic and subtopic represents a variety of associated data that will take you down a rabbit hole of information. A majority of the data contained in each topic is available via our API, with our packages available to connect to these endpoints. Do we have any Tidy Census or Census API users out there? A few, awesome. With these powerful API-based packages, you can directly access a lot of census data right within the environment you feel most comfortable doing your analysis in. Now that you know we collect a large variety of data on a large variety of census topics, you can imagine that there are an equal list of variety of requirements, use cases, and technical considerations. These steps list our traditional census data lifecycle, and while we are innovating several of these pieces with our agency-wide modernization effort, many of us still work through the process of moving data from one step to the next. Where does R help us with these tasks? Well, everywhere. Each one of these survey collection steps is technically complex and requires specific applications, some custom built. We are relying on information to move from one step to the next and sometimes disconnected applications, and R gives us the tools and the packages to verify that nothing gets lost along the way. This life cycle is replicated across Census in similar but unique ways, which presents a unique opportunity for knowledge sharing amongst open source users. The variety of needs combined with the overlap in processes makes it difficult to develop best practices and methodologies in a silo. You have to knowledge share in order to be successful. Open source means that you can take what works for others, what is considered a best practice, and tweak it to work for your specific process. This approach has been a huge success, and we're working on building a repository of best practice code and packages for different needs. The Census Bureau R user group is one of many affinity groups at Census, which means it's run completely by volunteers and open to the entire agency. I've had the privilege of leading this group since 2021, and we now have over 500 members. Our goal is to engage in knowledge sharing and ensure reliable IT support for users, and I'm happy to say that we've accomplished both. We encourage regular engagement with members through teams, including hosting a space for troubleshooting, resource sharing, and disseminating presentation recordings. We host monthly presentations on a variety of topics, ranging from special interest to technical use. Next week is our last presentation of the year, a demonstration on using RStudio Server in our new Enterprise Data Lake Cloud environment. My colleague Daniel, who's here, gave a great one earlier this year on R fundamentals, independent of RStudio. It was a huge success and very highly attended. We take a break in December, and then we're going to come back together in January to recap all of the amazing data science training options and opportunities available to staff. As a group, we are now responsible for updating R and RStudio on Windows and servers and other agency-wide open source IT support activities. This was a huge improvement. Before, the process was disconnected, and we were very lucky that one person was motivated to keep R updated despite navigating all the IT hurdles to do so. But now I'm happy to say we have regular updates, dedicated IT support, version control, package management, and the sky is the limit when people come together to creatively solve problems. We are so lucky to have a wonderful CIO who knew that it was so important to bring subject matter experts and IT staff together to accomplish this collaboration so we could improve the user experience while maintaining security for the agency. It has gone so well having everyone at the table for these very important discussions. We recognize that the lack of dedicated training is one of the biggest issues facing the move to open source. Our group is working to solve this problem. Our colleagues are smart. They pick up on introductory to R concepts quick. Our theory is if we can get people started with training, provide resources, encourage regular practice, they'll learn how to work independently. With this thought in mind, we have developed no shortage of training options for those who are motivated to learn. We offer staff access to Udemy and LinkedIn Learning for online training, which is available to anyone and allows the student to learn at their own pace and pick topics interesting to them. We have a 16-week Introduction to R for Data Science training program, and our second cohort is going on now. We graduated 19 students in the first cohort, and we're expected to graduate 9 in the second. For those who cannot commit to that longer training, on the first Wednesday of November, so that's next week, I like to give an Introduction to R for Data Science full-day workshop. And it takes a new user through data intake, exploratory data analysis techniques, dplyr for manipulation, and ggplot for visualization. It uses census data so that the user can mentally connect the skills learned back to their own work. And then coming in 2025, we hope to launch R Snacks, which was an idea inspired by Statistic Portugal's half an hour R sessions. These sessions will intentionally be snack-sized, giving the attendee a tangible skill over a short session that will help them in their own work. So some R Snack examples would be making maps, meaningful tables, reading in SAS datasets, an overview of working with Parquet files, and more. Small and simple, pieces that can come together and grow a meaningful data science skill set. For our 16-week program, our training team came together and deemed these data science tasks the most important topics to teach and pass on to Census students. This gives a well-rounded skill set to effectively work with survey data of any structure and format. I'm one of the 6 trainers, and it has been an awesome effort. We developed all of the materials ourselves based on our respective interests and skill sets. So as an example, I teach Tidy Census and Tigris because all of our data is geographic in nature, and mapping your data is a lot of fun. This is actually what originally got me interested in this field, was I knew that we could make some meaningful, beautiful maps with our data. GitLab's not on here, but we teach students all about version control with GitLab through regular assignments. At the end of the 16 weeks, students are asked to develop and present a capstone presentation that solves a problem within their own branch that their team is currently facing. This demonstrates their ability to take back what they learned and make a meaningful difference within their own projects. So some examples of motivating capstone projects from last year were comparing imputation methods with large-scale data, which is a challenge we all face, comparing and visualizing survey outcome codes, visualizing special census recounts, and restructuring and tidying messy budget reports. We believe that this approach of connecting student coursework back to their own work is the quickest way to get graduates using R. I believe we've had some success with this approach. One graduate is now part of a talent development team, helping formalize documentation and instruction for mathematical statisticians transitioning from SAS to R. Another is going on to a full-year graduate program for data science, and she's transformed how we can work with write-in responses that were provided in different languages. My own team member is now fully in charge of her own data analysis project within our branch, reviewing and validating expenditure data across the country on a yearly basis. We launched this program in 2023, and I'm happy to say that this year, before the second cohort began, we collectively worked to record our sessions and clean up the code associated and the associated materials to share through GitLab. This is now a fully shareable program that we can use for learning important topics, either a la carte or as a full program. And if someone asks me about a specific topic, which happens a lot, I have information readily available to share. We don't need to go back and reinvent what's already been done. We expose students to a huge variety of topics because we know everyone needs to use these tools a little bit differently for a little bit of a different process. As a bonus, this cross-program exposure helps our colleagues understand our agency's technological needs and diverse range of products a little bit better. Connections are made and information are shared through these common R tasks and R packages. It's truly beautiful to watch. My division chief once told me that before the 1990 census, every mathematical statistician had up to 3 statisticians' assistants to help with complex data analysis tasks. This was before our analysts had the tools to work independently and reliably with such large amounts of data. Around 1990, we made the agency move from Fortran to SAS, and this gave a newfound level of independence to analyze large data. While this was huge progress, using SAS still often came with a traditional mathematical statistician background and was limited in its flexibility and ability to work creatively. Now, 30 years later, these R packages and more are giving subject matter experts, people like me, the power to do complex data science tasks independently and confidently, and exponentially more. It's a great time to be a data scientist at a statistical agency. Honestly, I cannot imagine a cooler time to be at Census, except for maybe when the first computer was delivered to the Census Bureau in 1951. First commercially available computer, too. Okay. Oop, we went too far. My colleague Keith Savage works on the Business Trends and Outlook Survey, which started in 2020 to measure the state of the economy by collecting information on current business conditions and future expectations. This is considered a quick turnaround survey that collects data bi-weekly. R allows him to map and visualize return data quickly and efficiently, giving him the ability to produce real-time visuals showing the impact of extreme weather events on business trends. Specifically for this map, the team sought to display the impact of winter weather on business revenue. You can almost see winter coming and going through the visual created with ggplot and ggAnimate. They have this level of detail for all weather events. And this example shows the monetary impact in FEMA disaster designated tracts of Texas from Hurricane Beryl. Imagine combining this data with NOAA data, something that is becoming more realistic due to data sharing agreements. On the other organizational side of the Bureau, my colleague Joey Marshall works on our community resilience estimates, which seeks to measure the predictors of social vulnerability, recovery, and resilience in a community. The CRE program seeks to answer, are our measures accurately predicting disaster recovery efforts, emergency response, and preparedness? Earlier this year, on a quiet Tuesday morning, we awoke to the news of a local disaster. The human impact was deeply tragic, and soon after, the scale of disruption for thousands of daily commuters would also unfold. There were questions on if we could use our data and other open source tools available to help understand that scale of disruption. Joey believed that he could accomplish this by joining American Community Survey data with OpenStreetMaps and State Department of Transportation data. Thus, the Roadmap tool was born, which is a new toolkit that allows the user to layer disaster data on near real-time population data. For this event, the team was able to visualize the logistical impact for daily commuters and build a profile of people affected. This utilization of R and open source has allowed us to provide a quick turnaround in response and resource development. We are getting better with these quick reaction analyses, knowing that we can help provide information that allows for meaningful and targeted recovery efforts for our citizens. Keith and Joey show us how our data can be analyzed and used for quick analysis using R. Now let's look at some internal tools that are helping our teams verify and validate their data. Axel Kent is a member of the Outreach Automation Standardization team, and their Toast app is a division-wide project to innovate the production of visualizations for economic indicator data. The Shiny app allows users to select an indicator to visualize, either by retrieving data from the Census API or by direct user input. So this demo shows a user exploring the advanced monthly retail trade survey data and comparing the food and beverage store sales to the food services and drinking place sales. You can see how 2020 had a huge disruption. I think everyone can remember these peaks and valleys of grocery shopping, restaurants are closed, to-go was made popular. Maybe our credit cards are too high, so we stopped doing to-go. But you can see these visuals when you analyze your data in a smart way. We're running out of time, so I'm going to do a quick. Okay. David and Hai Fei, two graduates from the first cohort of R for Data Science, are leading the charge from our mathematical statistician area with their prelims dashboard. This data is needed for a highly visible Bureau of Economic Analysis deliverable, due 3 weeks ahead of the public release. This is all fake data, by the way. 4 key estimates are delivered, and Shiny allows the preliminary reviewers the opportunity to review all necessary comparisons. This needs to be exact, and with this amount of data, you need a dynamic tool that allows you to immediately see if anything looks out of place. Before tools like Shiny were easily accessible, it took a large amount of manual review and a certain amount of trust in the review process. Now we feel confident in our deliverables. So I showed you a lot of great examples from my colleagues. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit how I use it as the data scientist within my survey and project-based team. I work in the criminal justice branch. We have 2, and the one that I currently work in collects facility-level data. We have 4 significant surveys, and they are complex and the historical data is messy. I'm sure many in the audience can relate. We have so many years of data for each survey, but they were disconnected and due to various changes throughout the years, very difficult to reconcile. R has allowed our team to create longitudinal files for each collection, powerful data sets that didn't exist before. So one project that I just wrapped up was to create the public use code to submit to the Criminal Justice Model Code Repository, which helps give corrections analysis access to a variety of code templates for R-based analysis. I was able to learn from Keith and create my own GIF with GG Animate, my first one. And when I ran into problems, I was able to ask him for help. This is what the community gives us, people to learn from and ask questions to when we run into problems. That was my fun project. My production project was to deliver sampling code to Shelby over here that we had just moved into R from SAS. This was a big project, and it had many eyes on it due to the collection being required for PREA compliance, which is a federal mandate. This project required me to do a deep dive into both SAS and R code, as well as investigation with both vendor and developer when we ran into a fundamental mismatch due to rounding differences. It was a great project, and it gave me my first true challenge that required investigation, collaboration, and trial and error for a successful end result. So the future of data science at federal agencies is bright. We have a lot to look forward to in the coming year. 2025 is the year of visualization. Our running theme is demonstrating and displaying your data science findings. And we hope to expand our ability to share and publish interactive visualizations with our team members. Our agency is moving to cloud-based services, like so many others, where SAS is only being used where necessary. Everyone who can move into open source is being asked to do so ahead of the migration. We are actively adding more R users at our agency. Between an increased hiring in the 1560 Data Science series, which is open if anyone is interested, and an increase in training efforts and opportunities, we are upskilling many. I spent last week at the FCSM conference, which brings statistical agencies and partners together to share information. And it was apparent that a huge shift is coming with an increase in training and hiring combined with impending retirements. For those who are skeptical, nervous, or just not sure where to begin, our expansion of learning sessions and training efforts will help increase membership and interest in use. We are putting a lot of effort into show and tell and then try something yourself. We also have the opportunity to knowledge share on a small level with efforts such as R Snacks. This will lead to larger opportunities to promote best practices and best packages for specific tasks that we can share broadly. I could spend another 20 minutes talking about Pug, how we collaborate regularly to make sure we're aligned, and even how we are now actively working to help each other. But that's for another conference. The end result is that we are rapidly improving the user experience across both. And we are looking at configuration methods to viably and securely integrate R and Python in the coming year. Soon our data scientists will get to use the best parts of both languages. We don't get to install positron, not yet anyway, so we need to figure out a different path. This is where the IT and subject matter expert relationship is valuable. So no Q&A. If you want to talk about R and how you can increase training and engagement at your agency, feel free to reach out. I also want to give one more plug for the Interagency R user group and the R Govies group, which brings federal agencies together to talk about R once a month, 2 sessions once a month virtually. So if you want to join either, please reach out to Wendy Martinez or myself, and we'd be happy to add you to the list. That's it.